Welcome viewers to Historical Journeys. Very few individuals today know the name George McJunkin. However, perhaps they ought to. Considering what he contributed to U.S. history, it is regrettable that this individual has been largely forgotten. Although he was never given credit for his incredible discovery, it may have altered our understanding of how the North American continent developed. Presently, 100 years after his passing, we need to ask ourselves, why would that be? A rancher's noteworthy disclosure was neglected, and there's a shameful clarification behind it. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It only takes a second, and you won't miss any of our future videos. Let's get started. McJunkin was a dark rancher who meandered northern New Mexico in the late 19th and mid-20th hundreds of years. He appears to have been an intellectual who learned to read by himself and had numerous agricultural skills. McJunkin was known for hunting bison all through the incomparable fields, where he likewise dealt with many ranches, ultimately winding up in a space of New Mexico called Folsom. There he acknowledged the undertaking of administering the exercise of Crowfoot Farm. Nobody viewed his discoveries in a serious way. It would be 50 years after his passing before the archaeological local area at last paid heed. Yet by then he was not yet at the stage where he got the acknowledgement he merited. The silver lining to this story is that individuals are at last beginning to see the value in McJunkin's life and the way in which astounding it was for somebody brought into the world in Texas in 1851. Notwithstanding, after the finish of the nationwide conflict, he raised the stakes and went to New Mexico, where he really planned to carry on with a free life. He has spent basically all of his life encompassed by ponies, so it was nothing unexpected that he began riding them. All in all, he mastered the fundamental abilities to deal with the farm. Furthermore, that is precisely the exact thing he wanted to do when he moved to New Mexico. McJunkin immediately secured himself as a rancher and was great at it. At the point when he's not really buckling down on the farm, Mr. McJunkin was likewise bustling figuring out how to peruse, an expertise he had never had the valuable chance to peruse and presently had with the assistance of a few of his individual cowpokes. As time went on, McJunkin started to take on an ever-increasing number of liabilities as a cattle rustler. It was the Crowfoot Farm beyond Folsom, where McJunkin found what changed history. It began on August 27, 1908, on the grounds that the weather conditions was awful and the downpour was flooding the humble community of Folsom. The situation quickly deteriorated, and the amount of water in the area quickly increased. News records of the time show how terrible things were after the flood. When McJunkin surveyed the land following the weather disaster, he found himself in that predicament. He had to see how much of an impact it was having on his farm. As they work, Gordon sees new streams framing on the land, creating waste, and afterward finds a characteristic water channel, prompting a significant choice. The bones seemed as though they had a place with a bison. However, they were a lot bigger than any bison he had at any point met. Because McJunkin, an avid naturalist, thought that these large bison bones were ominous due to their size, something strange happened here. He concluded that they simply did not come from a species that existed in his time. Indeed, McJunkin took some of the bones and brought them home, realizing that he had made a remarkable discovery. No one else seemed to share his rightful belief that these bones were significant. Furthermore, for the following 14 years of his life, the rancher attempted to no end to get individuals to investigate the region he found. McJunkin has given his best for get individuals to tune in, sending letters to specialists, and surprisingly, giving some of them bones he took from the site, yet at the same time nobody has approached. After around a half year, one of the specialists he requested to check the site at last did. Furthermore, when they arrived, those individuals couldn't really accept that what they saw. In point of fact, there were massive bison bones. However, the problem persisted slowly even after seeing this group. However, at that point in 1926, one of his accomplices got a specialist from the Colorado Exhibition Hall of Normal History to check the site out. Along with a partner named Harold Cook, Figgins later started leading an archaeological review of the McJunkin site. What's more, it wasn't well before a few significant disclosures were made that demonstrated McJunkin was correct from the start. The bones he saw had a place with the terminated types of buffalo. However, what they didn't be aware at the time was that the site contained something other than buffalo bones. It was substantially more significant than that. Figgins has for some time been keen on the possibility of old individuals living on the North American mainland. However, as the unearthing proceeded, things started to unwind. Archaeologists working at the site found something strange, and keeping in mind that diving in the ground, an individual from the group raised a relic. The principal uncovering has been finished. However, after a year, there was a subsequent uprising. Another spear was discovered in the second excavation. To determine what to do with the artifact, the group contacted other archaeologists. Since the fossil was seen as close to the bones of the dead buffalo, the strategies are clear. These individuals have been around for quite a while, and it was found that they lived a long time back. McJunkin's site showed archaeologists that individuals had been in America significantly longer than recently suspected. As a matter of fact, local American people group have long kept up with that their set of experiences on the mainland returns a lot farther than is normally understood. As such, on account of Folsom's disclosures at this site, the whole history of America was revised without cattle rustler George McJunkin. At any rate, it might have taken significantly longer for the archaeological local area to grasp the full degree of whole American history. In fact, he didn't purposefully decide to find out about America's antiquated history. Be that as it may, when every one of the archaeologists composed scholastic papers about this site and its items, McJunkin's name was rarely referenced. During his lifetime, Fagan was most popular as an individual from the Ku Klux Klan and was an admirer of people of color like McJunkin. In Hibben, the creator dishonestly guarantees that McJunkin found buffalo bones and a lance tip in his long term. This portrayal was tested in a later article in the Distribution New Mexico magazine. An archaeologist by the name of George McJunkin tries to find out if McJunkin was actually involved in the discovery of the Folsom ruins in this article. McJunkin says that McJunkin was probably the first person to find the buffalo bones in the Folsom ruins, but he didn't know about the vanguard. As McJunkin said, there isn't anything in that frame of mind to propose that McJunkin found or thought about human contribution in buffalo annihilation. Regardless of whether McJunkin know the vanguard, he is praised by McJunkin. He composed that George Jenkins' disclosure denoted the start of a previously unheard-of section in American ancient times. As these clashing records show, McJunkin's job in the story is extremely confounded. Yet to some degree more individuals presently know his name, and the party composed America's initial history. In his article for Sapiens, Stephen Nash argues that minorities' achievements in history are frequently overlooked. Unfortunately, he wrote, credit frequently goes to the powerful and connected rather than the people who actually do the work. Segregation in view of orientation, race, status, and mature frequently assumes a part in these accounts, because it enables us to highlight some errors in history. Telling McJunkin's story is crucial. Despite his leading role in a fundamental discovery, this man has been forgotten by history. From Nash's perspective, we presently have an obligation to recount the narrative of this man who was ignored in light of his race. At the point when Nash completed his work, he was composing as a naturalist and gatherer committed to uncovering stowed-away stories. I like to believe that McJunkin needs his story revised so it is told precisely. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay updated with our latest videos, subscribing is the way to go. Just click that red button below and become a part of our channel family.